understanding of citta at all, can it appear? See, no understanding that what is it. So can it appear to ignorance, no understanding at all? That's why we have to learn about that which arises and experiences an object more and more in order to have firm confidence of the truth. The truth is that no one, all Dhammas are anatta. Dhamma is what is real, no matter it arises and experiences the object, or it cannot experience the object, but it can be experienced right now. All Dhamma, what is real, is Dhamma. No one and nothing at all. And all Dhammas, all is all. All Dhammas is anatta. Atta is someone and something. I is atta. A cup is anatta. Is that cup or that which is seen? And what is seen be something else different from that which can be seen? See, but more confidence little by little to get closer and closer to the moment of seeing and the moment of that which is now appearing, to understand the differences between the two. So now we are used to the term citta, 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 but not any moment of attending to the characteristic which now sees or experience the object. Even two words, see, experience the object, no shape and no form. Does it appear now? To be truthful to the truth, be true to this moment. Does citta appear, or that which is seen appear? And when that which is seen is appearing, can citta appear?
I don't know.
See, it's not just the word to be heard, but to understand the subtlety of reality, which is hidden each moment, from moment to moment. So we live in the world of ignorance, while the truth is that what is there arises only one and experience only one object, but now it does not appear as one moment of seeing and that which is seen, right?
Ajahn, can you clarify the point that previously Ajahn questioned, without understanding can seeing or citta appear?
And the way to understand citta, the reality which is now, sees that which is seen, it needs more time to consider, to be true to the truth. That which is seen cannot experience anything at all. It's just that which appears as we use different colors and one color only at a time. Clearly, by that moment, the reality which is the chief of experiencing. So there are other mental factors, other reality which arises and experience the object, but not as the chief of citta. But it likes or dislike or remember or fear towards that object which is there. The same moment of citta, when citta experiences that object. So we learn about the prt.Dhamma, the absolute reality which cannot change at all. It has to be as it is. The citta is that which experiences the object right now. It's real. It's Dhamma. It's prt.Dhamma. And it's so very subtle. So it is Dhamma. So Dhamma must be prt.Dhamma. Parama, great Dhamma. Nobody can change. It just arises and falls away instantly. No time to try to stop it to arise at all because it's gone already. And it's so very subtle, even is that right now, it does not appear to ignorance at all. That's why it is Abhidhamma, so very subtle Dhamma. So Abhidhamma or Dhamma or Paramada Dhamma, they are four together. Citta, the chief of experiencing. So the other realities which also experience the object, but not as the chief which experience only the characteristic which is experienced. They are different characteristic, different cetasika. That which arises with citta, it cannot arise alone, and it cannot perform the function of citta, but it has its own characteristic and its own function. We learn little by little about what are they now as citta and cetasikas, and the other reality which cannot experience at all, no matter in what world, those quality of reality which cannot experience the object. We use the word rupa. So in short, there is Dhamma, whatever is there is Dhamma, but there are Nama, the one which experiences the object and the one which cannot experience the object. So Dhamma, and that can be divided into two, Nama Dhamma and Rupa Dhamma. But the Nama Dhamma has two different realities. The chief of experiencing is Citta, and the other reality which arise together, it has its different quality, different characteristic, different function. It's different cetasika, one by one. For example, anger. Is the anchor? Is it real? Is it citta? So is it rupa? So it's cetasika. Because it experiences the object with irritation, unpleasant feeling. Anytime there must be citta, experience that object, and the feeling is there. And memory, remember that which is there every moment. Otherwise, how can it be known who's and whose and who and who and what? See, all that reality which marks and remember that which appears, and the word for it is sanya cetasika. That's why it's not as we said in daily life, sanya in Thai, it's like promise. Don't remember. Don't forget, excuse me, not don't remember.
So when you said if citta doesn't appear, it can't be understood, this is correct. And the point is that the visible object, it appears, it's seen, and it's experienced by the following cittas with ignorance. So even when there's no understanding, it appears, but usually to ignorance. But when understanding develops, it can understand that visible object that appears when it appears, when the characteristic appears. But in the case of the seeing, it's not the object that is seen. If there is no attention to seeing, no consideration, no wise attention at all, then that characteristic of seeing doesn't appear. So it's not understood. So this is the difference. So when you mentioned the object covers the citta, it just means that usually there's attending to what is seen, what is heard. We think a lot about the sounds, the visible objects, the colors, the tastes, because they appear. And this is why it's a little more obvious. But the seeing, the hearing, the tasting, without wise consideration and attention, they don't appear. Is that the point?
Yeah, that's quite clear. But
I just would like to have a follow-up question on that very point. So when you say that the characteristic doesn't appear, do you mean it doesn't appear as it is? Or because people will say, I see or I hear without the Buddha's teaching. So it's, of course, it's taken for I, but does that mean that that's only the idea?
It's just the idea.
Not the
It's not
characteristic
the
idea.
actual reality. We just say, oh, I can see many people in the room. It's just an idea, but the actual reality doesn't appear, whereas the visible object is seen. So even though there's usually no understanding, still the color appears, the reality itself. So this is why it seems that the object covers up and why it's a little more apparent. But without wise considering, there's no appearing of seeing the reality itself.
How about the thinking?
And the thinking also. So usually the thinking, like we can say, oh, I'm thinking about so many things at the moment. But again, it's just an idea about thinking. And the pleasant feeling that someone mentioned yesterday. Oh, I'm feeling so pleasant. I have so much pleasant feeling. But again, it's an idea because the reality itself doesn't appear unless there's wise reflection, wise consideration. And this is why, as Ajahn was saying this morning, there has to be the first round. There has to be the wise intellectual understanding first, considering again and again in order for the understanding to get closer and closer to the characteristic of that Nama Dhamma in order for it to appear. If we hadn't heard the Buddha's teachings, the characteristic of seeing or thinking would never appear. It would just be the idea, the concept of it all the time.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, the visible object is what is experienced by the eye consciousness before there is the idea of people and things. But the thinking about the visible object follows so rapidly and there are so many more moments of thinking than of the actual experiencing that the visible object itself is unknown. We just assume that visible object is being experienced now because there is thinking about people and things that we are looking at. So the realities or any conditioned Dhamma, including seeing consciousness as well as visible object, is not apparent except to understanding. What is experienced by the worldling, apart from the moments of actual awareness and understanding, is a conceptualization of the visible object or the sound and so on. And the Buddha explained in the suttas that for the worldling like us, the day there are very few moments of understanding or even of kusala in our daily life. There can be some, but I think he characterized the life of the worldling as being consciousness with attachment, lobha, conceit, mana, or wrong view, ditthi. Those were the three mental factors he mentioned as being part and parcel, as being just the normal kind of consciousness that arises in a day for the worldling. And so from that we can be quite satisfied that we can assume that mostly it's one of those kinds of mental factors that will, but as to which one it is, whether it's wrong view, whether it's conceit, whether it's just attachment, we don't have to really try and break it down like that. They're all unwholesome, and anyway, they're all realities. So as understanding develops, understanding will presumably appreciate, will see more clearly at different moments, but to begin with, they are just moments of unwholesome thinking. So the characteristic, as we said, appears only if there are moments of awareness and understanding. On the question of wrong view of self, or I who is seeing, who is hearing, who is thinking, this will vary from individual one to the other as to how much of the day is thinking in terms of I am seeing now, I am hearing now, I am doing this. But we can appreciate that, for example, when we are lost in thought about something, then there's not much attention being paid to the seeing or the hearing that's going on. Or when we're listening attentively to some music or whatever, there may not be much attention being paid to what is being experienced through the eye door. So there's no rule that it's always the idea of I who is seeing, I who is hearing. And for us, those things, the seeing, the hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking, they all appear to be happening contemporaneously. And so there couldn't be an idea of I attaching to all of them at once. So it will vary from one person to another, the extent to which it's I who is doing this or seeing or hearing.
May I have another point that, for example, visible object and seeing, then seeing not appear without the understanding, right? May I clarify this point? What about the, for example, anger? Then anger, the object, but is this anger appear to the anger, or just the object appear to the anger?
Could you just clarify what you're asking when you say, is it anger or is it the object?
Because
of course, we can know, anyone can know that there is anger, and it's presumably taken as my anger.
say I agree with someone, right?
Yes.
Send someone at the object, and the angry about the object. My question is say at the moment of the anger there, right? And does anger be the object of the next citta with the anger? Because I only understand.
Can there be anger about the anger?
Yes.
It can be. Why not? If one thinks, especially if one thinks it's my anger, and then you think, oh, it's not, that's not good.
Because it's the same logic as the citta not appear to the ignorance, something like that. That is my point. Because I'm not sure if I don't understand correctly that the citta or the seeing not appear to the ignorance, right?
Yes.
That is what I'm understanding.
Right.
And I try to clarify if not about the seeing, but the anger.
Mm-hmm.
It is anger or the lobha appear to themselves, appear to the next citta, yeah, or only the panya
Only to panya.
at the
Can only appear to panya.
saying about seeing or hearing,
Same, ma'am.
because otherwise, like we were saying about seeing and hearing, it's just thinking about a story of seeing and hearing, my seeing, my hearing, and the same with anger. If there hasn't been the wise consideration and understanding of the characteristic of anger intellectually, then there cannot be the direct understanding of the reality. It doesn't appear. It doesn't appear unless there is understanding. It's just an idea, a story, a concept. And whereas visible object appears directly to seeing, even though it's not understood, we cannot say that the thinking, the thought appears, because the thought is just an idea.
Yeah.
It's just the idea that's experienced.
Yeah, it's clear.
So in the case of the kind of panya that is developed in samatha, so that is the characteristic of the individual characteristic appears at that moment.
But it's the concept. It's the concept of the characteristic of anger. It's the concept of anger, but it's not the understanding of the reality of anger as a Dhamma. And this relates back to Tiny Tam's father's question about sati this morning. This is why, without understanding about different realities, there cannot be the development of sati. There cannot be the understanding of what sati is, because there will always be the idea of being aware of something there. So it's an idea of anger, an idea of metta, but it's not the direct understanding with awareness, the direct awareness of metta or anger. So in the development of samatha, there is the knowing about what is metta, when there is metta and when there is not metta, but it's not the understanding of metta as a Dhamma, as anatta. And that's why there is only one way, one path, which is the understanding of the realities, the Dhammas as anatta. Otherwise, no matter how much knowledge there is of metta and how much development, it can never lead to the eradication of ignorance.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
The panya of samatha is usually panya that arises with the contemplation of the object. It's not usually considered to be a direct experience of an object. So one is contemplating the danger of the akusala, for example, or the benefit of kusala, and one is also, the panya also is able to distinguish one from the other.
Yes. So what is the base? Based on what that panya can see the harm of akusala? Like, is it based on the characteristic of it, or?
Well, what do you mean by characteristic? Because obviously,
The individual, like akusala, has a distinct characteristic of being akusala.
yes, it's different from kusala because it is accompanied by different kinds of cetasikas, and we could characterize akusala citta by the restlessness mental factor that accompanies it. So I think the panya is able to identify that. But when we talk about characteristic general in terms of satipatthana, we're referring to the characteristics of anicca, dukkha, anatta mainly, and also the individual characteristic, but these are not the object of direct experience by the panya.
Yes.
Like even now, there can be wise reflection about the value of kindness, of metta, helping other people, being considerate for the needs of others, the opposite of selfishness, just thinking of oneself and one's own needs all the time, what I would like to see and hear. So there can be reflection on the value of giving up the clinging to I and the moments of kindness. And there can be so many moments of kindness and helpfulness in a day. And this can be with understanding, but it's not the understanding of the Dhamma as a Dhamma. But still it is a level of understanding that can develop.
Interestingly enough, the panya of Satipatthana is not really concerned about whether it's kusala or akusala in that respect. And is not concerned about what are the conditions for more kusala, less akusala. So the focus, if you like, of the understanding is quite different.
Should I ask Thai too? Thai, would you like to bring up your topic now?
Xin cảm ơn Achan và bác John với Sarah đã đến Việt Nam thêm một lần nữa. Thì xin được phép hỏi Achan và hai bác là cái giáo pháp của Đức Phật thì rất là khó hiểu và rất là vi tế, nhưng mà tất cả mọi thứ thì đều phải có cái sự bắt đầu. Thì cái sự bắt đầu của cái hiểu những cái điều mà Đức Phật dạy thì xin các vị có thể giải thích cái sự khởi đầu này hay không? So thank you Achan and John Sarah for coming to Vietnam and explain again. And I had a small question. The Buddha teaching is so deep and very difficult to understand, but all had a beginning. So can you explain a little bit about the beginning of understanding the Buddha teachings and the development of it? Thank you.
The beginning always has to be now. So there has to be the beginning again and again, like we heard this morning about seeing, we heard yesterday about seeing, but because it's just the beginning, there has to be the hearing and considering again and again, never mind about what was heard 5 minutes ago or yesterday, it's all gone. What about now? There has to be the considering and the wise attending to what is real, what can be known, the truth now. And this is the beginning. And it doesn't matter whether we're talking about a Jan or someone who's come in for the first time today. It's just the same. It's the understanding that has to begin again at each moment by hearing, considering, reflecting again and again to what life is now, because the deeply rooted ignorance and clinging to the idea of I is so strong, so deeply rooted, entrenched. That's why there has to be beginning again and again. And even one could say, even for those who are enlightened, still has to be beginning again and again, because there's always a new moment, another reality to be known, appearing now. And perhaps Ajahn would like to add more.
So now we'll begin again to understand a little more about samatha. Samatha. See, we heard the word samatha. It seems like no one has doubt about it. Just take it, samatha. But in truth, what is it? See, before hearing the teachings of the Buddha, we think that there is the understanding of what we say samatha. See, what do you think about samatha before hearing about the truth of it?
Thực sự là không có cái hiểu gì về samatha. Really no understand about it.
I think for most people, we think that it's just sitting cross legs and focusing on something. So it's the usual idea before listening to the Buddha's teaching.
Does one would like to have samatha?
I think, yes, most of us without understanding.
At moment of wanting, is it samatha or not samatha? See, without understanding, we crave for that it's samatha, but in truth, it's not at all. That's why we have to learn to understand the nature, the truth of it, not just the word about it. The Buddha say about the reality, which is samatha. Is it real? Begin again, not forget. What is reality this very moment? What is there is real. So each reality, whatever is real, is a Dhamma. So is samatha a Dhamma? Not forget the meaning of
Yes,
Dhamma.
Ajahn. Dạ đúng ạ.
What kind of Dhamma?
It appear as the teaching mentioned, but it's not appear for understanding. Nó có thật bởi vì là Đức Phật có giảng là nó có thật, nhưng mà nó không có xuất hiện để mà biết được cái thực tại đó.
If you don't know what Dhamma, samatha is, can it be known to be understood that it is samatha?
Chưa ạ, not yet.
That's why we have to know about it to realize when it's that oh, that is samatha. It's just if we don't have any understanding of seeing, so how can there be the understanding of the moment of seeing is seeing, see, the same with everything. So we have to understand a little more, begin again to understand what is it. Is it real? So it's real, it's a reality. There are two kinds of reality, that which experience the object and that which cannot experience the object. So what is samatha?
Nếu vậy thì nó phải là một cái thực tại mà có thể kinh nghiệm. So it should be the reality that experience.
So it's a kind of nama, right? Nama Dhamma.
Dạ đúng ạ.
Is it citta?
It's not chitta, nó không phải là tâm ạ, mà nó là tâm sở.
A little firm confidence of citta. It's not any cetasika at all. So the reality, which is the chief of experience, is only one citta, and the others experience the same object, but not as a chief. So there are two kinds of nama. What is samatha?
It is the Dhamma that is that arise with chitta. Đó là tâm sở và sinh của.
Just it's there arising with citta, so it is cetasika.
Yes.
Right? How do we know that samatha is kusala? Just the word samatha, so it's kusala or what? Oh,
I had no idea.
see, and that is not the same or understanding samatha, no matter how much we talk about it. We talk about namas, And the Dhamma is there, seeing, hearing, no understanding of it until we learn little more about the truth of it, until it shows up to be known as we understood. It's that which experience the object. So, what is the meaning of samatha?
It means calm, Ajahn.
So, can it be citta?
Không ạ.
So, it has to be cetasika. And what is the meaning of calm or calmness?
In the characters of Chetasika that call
It's calm because it's not akusala. So we begin to understand akusala is not calm at all. No matter it is moha or lopa or dosa, no calm. That's why I learn to understand the two differences of cetasika. One is akusala and the other is akusala. Or we can say sobana because there are more meaning of sobana. And kusala is just a cause which is wholesome. But sobana is wholesome, but it can be the cause or not the cause. So many things to learn about because it's there now, but without clear understanding. It's just a word. But now we begin to understand the meaning of samatha. Why do people crave to be or to have samatha moment? Is that today's?
Có thể là bởi vì là có rất nhiều những cái lời dạy rằng đó là cái con đường để dẫn đến sự giải thoát. Maybe because there's a lot of teaching mention that it is the way for either the Buddha way for the.
They don't realize what is meant by kusala and what is akusala. They take akusala for kusala when there's no understanding. So when we heard the word calm, calmness, and we'd like to be calm, is that true? Is that kusala? See, that's why we have to understand that all dhammas are anatta. When there's no condition for calmness to arise, no matter how much one tries so hard, it's not calmness at all. That's why even understanding the truth of calmness is a level of understanding what is real as it is. But people in the Buddha's time before the Buddha's enlightenment, as much as they can have calmness because they careful considering about the truth, but not enough to understand that it's not anyone at all. It just arises in a false way. That's why many degrees of calmness, because any moment of kusala is calm. Different degrees. Otherwise, no difference between kusala and akusala, wholesome or unwholesome moment. That's why careful considering to understand a little more can let go ignorance and attachment. That's why it has to be very firm confidence of the truth, Satya Parami. Be truthful to the truth. So be true to calmness now, whether it's calm or not calm. There is only idea about it right now, but not yet. The reality is there to be known as it is. Even just the word Nama Dhamma or Rupa Dhamma, can it appear clearly right now? Or it does not appear well to the degree of understanding only at level of beginning again and again, to hear it again and again and again. Okay, no doubt about Nama Dhamma now, right? No doubt about Nama Dhamma now.
Yes, Ajahn.
What Nama Dhamma right now?
Đang có cái nhìn ạ. There is a seeing, so the seeing is Dhamma.
Seeing there. Or what about the moment when there's no seeing?
Maybe thinking, có thể là khoảnh khắc đó có suy nghĩ.
When there's no thinking, no hearing, no smelling, no tasting, no touching, it's the Nama.
Yes,
How do you know?
by thinking.
By understanding that from birth to death, each Nama arises and falls away, condition the next Nama to arise. For example, birth moment is just one moment, right? But the birth moment has condition to condition the next moment to arise. Follow. Instantly, as soon as it falls away, it conditions the next moment to arise. So the previous citta conditions the next citta non-stop. As soon as one citta falls away, the falling away of that one conditions the next moment of the other one. That's why Nama never lost or never absent at all. It's that each moment. And what about at moment of birth? Does it experience anything?
Có ạ. Yes, Ajahn. There must be.
A little firm confidence of the truth that whenever it's there, Nama, the reality, which experiences the object, no matter at what moment, even while one is sleeping, is there. Nama.
Dạ có ạ. Yes, Ajahn.
There is citta. That's why we learn to understand that when citta can be known, see, even there is citta, otherwise no life at all. It's just like hardness or softness, the tree and the plate cannot experience anything. But the moment of experiencing an object, citta is achieved. And each Namadhamma has the quality of a condition to condition the next moment to arise instantly. And now we're learning about Pacaya, condition for whatever arises, and the citta and cetasika, as soon as they fall away, the condition which is there in each citta is anantara Pacaya, just condition the next moment to arise. Is that right? Non-stop?
Dạ đúng ạ. Yes, Ajahn.
So, can it be ended?
Can it be what?
Finished? Never arise again?
And it ends. Now there is one citta.
Có thể chấm dứt không?
Yes.
Yes, it can be in the future.
What do you mean?
Again, please.
Em nói rõ hơn cho cô.
This moment of seeing falls away.
Yes.
The seeing itself conditions the next moment to arise non-stop. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Can it end? No more arising of citta and cetasika?
Yes, and the Buddha talked about the way
How do you know?
by hearing.
By hearing. We heard the word nibbana, see, and parinibbana, the last citta of arahata, doesn't have anandra pacaya, no condition to condition the next moment to arise. No attachment, no ignorance, not just the anusya, the very latent tendency cannot be there anymore, completely, absolutely eradicated. Then there are no condition for whatever to arise again. But now, each moment of citta now arise, and the next one arise after that previous one falls away instantly by Pacaya, Anantara Pacaya. So now we begin to understand previous life, present life, and next life, as long as the citta is still have condition to condition the next moment to arise, it has to arise. But it has to arise not just at will, out of the blue, but there are other conditions too. What follows the seeing moment, not other citta, but only the citta, which by way of its condition for that particular one to arise after it, samanantara pacaya, just like. So we learn more to understand that there are conditions for whatever arise, not anyone at all. So samatha, at moment of understanding, little by little, but it does not show up because it's so temporary, not long enough to be recognized or to be known that it's samatha. Is samatha concentration, samadhi? See, why not? Without the teachings of the enlightenment, nobody can understand the truth of each moment as different moment by different conditions. So begin to have to be confident of the truth, firmer and firmer, and that is Satya Barami. And when it's firm enough, it is Adidana Barami. No change. Only at moment of understanding is the path leading to realize the Four Noble Truths. And what is the beginning of the path? Understanding what is there, stage by stage. What is heard should be carefully considered. The truth and the confidence more and more, little by little, until no other way at all. Only moment of understanding, which is calm, no akusala can arise with it. When there is attachment, is it calm?
No, Ajahn.
At moment of anger, dosa, is it calm?
No, Ajahn.
At moment of moha, is it calm?
No, Ajahn.
So now, moments of moha, no calmness at all. The difference between understanding and ignorance.
Wishing to develop samatha, any calm?
No, chắc là không ạ.
Because it's just clinging, wishing to have calm, wishing to be tranquil. So actually the result is the opposite of what one wishes for. I think many good topics to continue with tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Ajahn, and Chairman Sam. So see you tomorrow at 9:30 here.
Same time.
Same time.